For 1 year, I was a missionary in the basin of the Amazon, within the pueblo of Yapacani, Bolivia. My family and friends didn't know what I was signing up for, and to be honest, I didn't know exactly either, which was fine, because this was something I was being called to.
For some time, I wanted to live in silence. The best I can compare it to is Jesus' 40 days in the desert before he began his public ministry. Just that idea of being alone and having that moment of pivotal growth really resonated with me. But it's kind of crazy, so I didn't know how to pursue that or how to accomplish that dream. So years later, I heard of a friend who was living abroad and teaching English abroad, and those sentiments came back, and I felt, oh man, that's what I want to do. That would be great. So I started applying and looking at places to teach English abroad. Yet I had a lot of worries and concerns of how this might go, and I expressed them to a parish priest friend of mine, and he suggested to me missionary work. So I considered it, looked online to the Catholic Volunteers Network, and came across the Salesian lay missioners. And I applied, got called back for an interview, and this great peace came that this was it. This was what I was looking for. When I arrived to my mission site of Yapacani, Bolivia, I worked in 3 different areas. Because of my background in video, I worked at the Salesian-owned TV and radio station called Radio Televisión y Chilo. There I directed and produced 2 different TV programs, a cooking show and then a young adult show. I made commercials, taught some of the editors new techniques, and then outside of that, I worked at the Canadian organization called Chalice. They have a mission site in Yapacani that serves over 900 children. So because I can speak English and was still learning Spanish, I was translating letters from their sponsors to the children, and then from the children to their sponsors, and then all of the correspondence of the social workers there. And then lastly, I worked in education. Every Tuesday, I taught confirmation for 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. And then every Friday morning, I took a motorcycle to the school of Simon Bolivar, where I taught 1st grade to 6th grade religion. And it was just great working there with the children, because as soon as I got off the motorcycle, they would just rush up and just tackle me. And intermingled with that was my commitment to the Salesian community. At 6:15 every morning, we would attend chapel for morning prayer, followed by a half an hour of silent meditation. Afterwards, we'd have breakfast, and then I would go to Yapacani. My favorite part about the Salesian community with the 5 priests and the brother that was there, and some of the aspirants, was Monday night rosary. We would walk a long corridor, praying the rosary out loud, facing a Marian statue. And it was just very monastic, very peaceful and relaxing. And it really reflected the deep devotions the Salesians have to the Marian title of Mary Help of Christians, María Auxiliadora de los Cristianos. I'm still processing my experience from Bolivia, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to impact me. But I can say the person who's going to have the greatest influence was the person who I spent the most amount of time with, which was my director, Padre Arturo. He is an 80-year-old Italian priest who has lived in Bolivia for 26 years, and just a trip, just a fun guy. So early on, when I began my missionary work in Yapacani, I was working 7 days a week and just became exhausted. So I approached Padre Arturo and asked him for a day off. He laughed at me, even though I got it off. I got that day off because even though he's 80 years old, he doesn't get a day off. He works 7 days a week, constantly thinking of others, giving for others, and just working. So spending so much time with him was just a great guide to reinforcing what it means to be a missionary, what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be a follower of Christ. The biggest cultural difference that I faced in Bolivia can be summed up in the word tranquilo. Tranquilo translates to tranquil, but not exactly. Tranquilo is relax, chill out, no worries. And I wasn't chilling out. I was not relaxed my first months there. I was very stressed out because I was asking questions pertaining to the schedule. Because sometimes the schedule, the routine, order would just not happen. So I would be wrapped up in these questions of just concern of how are we going to get our work done? How are we going to accomplish these things? How am I going to survive here? And slowly I internalized tranquilo as a missionary to mean my dependence on God. And even though I have all these concerns and all these things that I really want and need to get done, they may not get done on my time, but they will get done on God's time. And that's okay. What I expected from missionary life was growth. And I was served tenfold, mainly because there were things I wasn't expecting, like deafening silence and chronic illness. And these things were really difficult because I was on my own and out of my comfort zone. But I survived. So these challenges changed me. They taught me that I survived through God, and in the future I will face newer challenges, probably greater challenges than Bolivia. And I'll overcome them the same way that I did in Bolivia, with, through, and in God. Missionary work is a call. It's a vocation. And a lot of times I think people are very scared by that idea, that it's something above and beyond them, that it's something that might change them into someone they don't want to be, that it's something too great a task they can't accomplish, when in all reality it's something that they're very capable of doing, because it's something God has given you, and He knows you can handle it.